Once upon a time, in the Shiny Kingdom, lived two friends, Francis the Speck of Dust and Mark the Mushroom. They met at a local Pride parade where, amongst a sea of colours, they understood and recognised each other's green stripy flags. Neither wanted anything more than friendship, and they enjoyed watching a baking show together in the house of some local humans. The friendship brought great joy to each of their lives, but Mark was very career-driven, and when the offer to be a fun guy at the local forest appeared, they took it without hesitation. Francis missed Mark greatly, but they supported this decision and visited them every April. Francis's big struggle in life was that they were allergic to tea, and thus they were unable to provide themselves with that freshly boiled comfort available to most other creatures. As they sat on the table, contemplating what to do for 11 months, they heard a voice behind them. "Hello," said a cornflake. They had clearly been dropped from the box by the owners. "Do you have nutritional information?" Francis wondered why this was a question that anyone would ask, and in that moment it occurred to them that they could not read. Unable to introduce themselves through the ski data, the cornflake mentioned that the name was Jack, and that they too struggled with a tea allergy. Francis and the cornflake talked all through the night, bonding over the unfortunate aversion to hot drinks and the great love for cupboards. In the morning they fell asleep in each other's arms and decided to stay friends forever. And so they got into a happy pattern of long conversations and daytime naps, of discussing health advice and watching the sun coming up in the morning. It was a comfortable and stable time for them both. But April rolled around, and it was time for Francis's annual journey to visit the long-distance friend Mark. The forest was a long way away, and they would have to get a train, so Francis asked the new friend Jack if they would come with them. Jack said yes, of course they would. Francis went to pack their bag, and when they were ready to leave, Jack announced that actually they would spend the next month sunbathing instead. The brain was so full of air that they could not comprehend the fact that they mattered. Francis walked to the station alone and dissolved from sadness just before the train was due to arrive. The next day, Mark went to pick them up from the station, only to realize that the long-distance friend had not arrived. But they knew that in life delays happened, and so they sat and waited, every day of the visiting month. May came and went, and still, Mark had complete faith that the friend would arrive. But Francis never came, and eventually some local vegetarians took them home and cooked them. To their surprise, the meal tasted of longing. The vegetarians did not like that, and with a heavy heart they went back to eating meat. Soon the other vegetarians followed in their footsteps, influenced by the echo chamber of opinions fed back to them through social media. This put quite a high demand on the planet, as suddenly so many animals had to be reared. In the overpopulated world, hungry people started fighting over land on which they could grow food. The extra release of greenhouse gases from meat production meant that each year increasing amounts of crops were destroyed by various natural disasters. The ghost of dead house began to haunt the people who turned to alcohol to drown out their voices. The growing number of liver disease cases put a high strain on the NHS, with waiting times stretching for months. When the pandemic hit, they could not save another soul. And so the funeral business boomed, but there was no space to grow flowers in fields full of animal feed. The families of the dead sat around undecorated coffins and resented the vegetarians who had gone back to eating meat. Those who were not killed in the resulting war drowned when sea levels rose. In one privileged plastic container, a single cornflake stayed dry, oblivious to the whole situation. They never experienced friendship again.